Waking up in the flower bed, the sun is up, table set, we eat and drink. Body and bread, blood and wine, there's a time to live, time to die, and a time to be. Slow down and listen for a heartbeat. With everything in motion, say a word, hold a hand. Life is not the sum of what we plan, but the in-between. This miracle of human life and the body.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met yet, I'm Sally. Welcome especially. I may or may not be sitting on the bathroom floor to record this intro because I liked lighting, so we're just rolling with it. But oh my goodness, we are back in the States. We are in Tennessee currently, staying with some of Samuel's family. We're gonna be here for a little bit before ultimately seeing some more of my family and then making our way out to our final destination. But we got back in about midway through last week. It's Monday. I don't even know when we got back, but midway through last week, roughly. And honestly, it's been so good. So good to be back in the States. My number one takeaway from our trip, as fun as it was that I'm just really grateful to live in the United States. And I know that like we get a bad rap, like Americans do, but we just have so much to be grateful for. And I think also there's an element of like, this is where I was born, this is what I'm used to, this will always be home, which was honestly like a relief for me to feel that, because there's part of me that I think I've always just been curious about different places and is like worried, oh, I'm gonna just like want to move across the world, which I really don't want to do. I want to stay in the United States. So yeah, we had a good trip. We got to really do everything and see everything that we wanted to, but we did decide to cut it a little bit short. We came back like 9 days early. Didn't go to south of France, which is interesting because that's what I was initially most excited for. But it just reached the point, there was some different stuff. Everything's fine, but like work related in large part with Samuel's stuff. And also some of my stuff that just kept happening. It was like, honestly, it kind of felt like spiritual attack. There was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. And I'm sure that there was an element of that at play. Anyways, it was a stressful time, but it was a really good time. And we just did the things we wanted to do, reached a point where we're like, we're just going to be able to be more present and enjoy the rest of our trip more, and also enjoy the rest of our summer more with all of the moving that's going on if we just, you know, call it a day and come back a little bit early. So that's what we did, and we're really happy with that decision. While we're here in the Tennessee mountains, what we are really trying to do is get stuff finished up work-wise that needs to be done before the move, and just kind of get into a rhythm, take good care of our bodies and rest, because again, I said that trip was stressful, especially early on in it. There were some things that happened where, like, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think I've ever been so stressed in my life for such a prolonged period of time. I mean, like, I wasn't eating. I was trying to eat, but it's the kind of thing where like I felt like I was gonna throw up with every single bite of food that I took, and I wasn't sleeping well, and Samuel definitely wasn't sleeping well. And I mean, it was like at least a week of time where I certainly was not eating as much as I needed to. We were walking a ton because we were still trying to go sightsee. And honestly, that was really good for us to like get out and do those things that we were, you know, supposed to be there doing. But the bottom line is that I was really freaking stressed, and my body kind of took a beating for it despite my best efforts. So I'm trying to get back into a good rhythm, have grace for myself. And something that I've noticed recently is I feel like I'm struggling more with my blood sugar regulation, just like hunger in the mornings. We've gotten to a pretty good place with my blood sugar regulation as a whole, but I think maybe it's like the toll of just stress. I'll eat breakfast at like 7 or 8, and then I'm like, okay, it's reasonable for me to be able to wait until like 11 to have lunch, or 12 depending on like when I had breakfast. That's reasonable, but I'll find myself at about 10 getting like ravenous, and if I don't eat, then it's like blood sugar tanks, I'm anxious, I'm jittery, blah 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 blah. I mean, you know the drill. But I was just like, I thought we were past this. So anyways, today I'm gonna try having like a pointed mid-morning snack. I think I'm gonna make a Yogi coffee, which I haven't done in a while, so we'll do that here in a second. I'm sipping on some tea right now. And I've also tried been trying to be like even more disciplined about fully having my breakfast first before coffee, because again, I was at a point where I felt good to like have my breakfast and my coffee together, and it wasn't a problem. But I think again, just with the stress, you have to adapt, and so doing that for my body. But okay, I'm gonna go finish my tea, eventually make that yogi coffee. I'm gonna get my studying done, and then later today we are going to do something super fun. We're gonna go out and pick some wild blackberries, spend a little bit of time outside, and then we're going to make a nourishing blackberry chocolate chip ice cream that some of y'all saw over on my Instagram. At this point, it's probably a few weeks or a month back, but you asked for me to share the recipe, so I'm gonna share it here. It's not my recipe, but I'll show you what I did and share the recipe that I followed. So thanks for being here. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I guess let's do this thing. If you've never made a yogi coffee before, here's what you do. So you have an egg yolk, a raw egg yolk. You want one that is pasture raised, and I don't worry too much about it because the coffee is hot enough that it at least like essentially pasteurizes the egg yolk in the process. But ideally it's an egg that has not been washed, because those, as funny as it seems, tend to have less risk of like salmonella on the inside. It has to do with the permeability of the eggshell. But anyways, that's a long story. Raw egg yolk. I have some cinnamon and some vanilla already in here. You're gonna add your sweetener of choice. I like to use maple syrup. I just really like this combination. 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how sweet you like it. I like it a little bit less sweet. I'm gonna add a pinch of sea salt. This is nice mineral salt, and we're gonna whisk that all up until it's nice and creamy and even a little frothy. Again, you can use whatever sugar you want. And then I actually usually do espresso. This is my first time doing pour over because I don't have my espresso maker here, but I have a little pour over set up with my fun collapsible travel pour over thingy-mabobber. So I'll make the pour over, and then I'll pour that over the egg mixture, and then I think I'll just make it a little bit extra concentrated, and then we'll put some milk on top. You could also totally ice this, just using hot coffee with the egg mixture before pouring it over ice. So let's do this.
Of human life and the body and time that we occupy, it is all together sacred. Slow down and listen for a heartbeat. With everything in motion, oh, here now, see the beauty that is woven every single moment. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Tomorrow's still a mystery. Don't worry about what you wear or eat. Just stop and smell the roses.
I sat down at my laptop to study and just get some random work done, and somehow like 5 hours passed. So anyways, I changed, and Samuel and I just went out and had a workout. But let's go pick some blackberries, and then we'll make that delicious wild blackberry ice cream.
Hello, can you hear me where you are? I search for ways to come to you. I wish I knew today the hollow shells and coins swallowed all the darts I threw, all to you. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, like daylight. Whoa, 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 whoa.
New plan is we found the blueberry bush because There were yellow jackets all over the blackberries. Here you go. There were yellow jackets all over the blackberries, and honestly not that many blackberries themselves. You think the birds got them. And Samuel is really allergic to yellow jackets. And honestly, I have no interest in figuring out whether or not I'm allergic to yellow jackets. And even if I'm not, it is not fun to be stung. So we picked a few. I picked a few, but decided to try our luck with the blueberries. And so far, so good. They are so beautiful. I can't stand it, honestly.
Hello, found. No matter how I frame this picture, no matter how.
Alrighty, Freddies, it is the next day because it got really late and we just ran out of time yesterday. But as you saw, there was a slight change of plans. We're going to be using mostly blueberries instead of blackberries, but that actually goes to just emphasize a point I was going to make, which is you can really do this with any fresh berry. Just some are going to be seedier than others, and so the straining process that we'll get to will be a little bit more relevant for, you know, if you were just using blackberries than if you're using blueberries, although I do still plan to strain it. So I am following a recipe following this recipe from Simply So Good, which I'll link below. It's the blackberry chocolate chip ice cream. Of course, doing it with blueberries today. I think that'll be super tasty. These are like really sweet blueberries as well. So the first thing we need to do is make our ice cream base, and this actually takes 2 parts initially. So we're going to make our berry base, putting this on the stove with just a little bit of sugar, and then we're going to make our cream base. Those will chill, they'll combine, we'll put them in the ice cream maker, we'll add the chocolate. So I'm going to start off by putting this into a saucepan. Actually, I'm going to measure them out. I'm going to rinse them off, and I'm going to probably do about 2.5 to 3 cups of berries. The recipe says 2 cups, but last time I felt like it needed a little bit more. So again, 2.5 to 3 cups of berries with just about 2 tablespoons of sugar. You can use whatever sweetener you prefer to use. That'll be just fine.
I'd rather have you in my mind. No matter how I call this progress, no matter how I change the lines, I'd rather have you right here closer. I'd rather have you in my mind. No matter how I frame this picture, no matter how I change the lines, I'd rather have you right here closer. I'd rather have you in my mind. No matter how I call this progress.
Okay, our berry compote is complete, and I'm putting that into the fridge to chill, and now we're going to get on to the cream base. So you want a medium to large mixing bowl for this, and a saucepan. You can use the same one you used previously. Into our mixing bowl, you're going to crack 5 egg yolks, so just save the whites for an omelet in the morning or something like that. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of sugar. We're going to whisk that till it gets nice and foamy, and on the stove, we're heating up our milk, our cream, a little bit of salt, a little bit more sugar until it's just steaming. We will carefully add that to the egg yolks, so not to scramble them, and then we'll put that all back on the stove where it's just going to simmer until it thickens enough that it kind of sticks to the back of the spoon. So obviously, again, all of your quantities are in the recipe. I always recommend highest quality sourcing as is possible for you, so using pasture raised egg yolks and grass-fed milk, raw milk if you can get your hands on it, without synthetic vitamins added. Whole rabbit hole, but all of that is going to add to the nourishment factor of the ice cream. But just remember, like, a treat is a treat. It doesn't always need to be perfect, and like I said, I certainly don't have access to raw milk right now. Will soon, hopefully, but yeah, anyways, gonna put this together. You can consult recipe for exact quantities.
To you, I wish I knew today. The hollow shells and coins swallowed all the darts I threw, all to you. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, like daylight. Whoa, 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 whoa.
our cream base and our compote have both chilled, so I'm just gonna mix those together, throw them in the ice cream maker, and really close to the end, about 5 minutes before I think I need to pull them out, I'll add the chocolate chips. Of course, just follow the instructions of your ice cream maker and you should be set.
Goodbye lost, hello found. Goodbye lost, hello found. No matter how I frame this picture, no matter how I change the lights, I'd rather have you right here closer. I'd rather have you in my mind. No matter how I call this.
I'd like to note that I really, and I do mean really, battled the ice cream maker for this end result. It was my mistake. You shouldn't put the ice cream mix, especially if it's as cold as mine was. I chilled it in the freezer, not in the fridge, in the base before you put the mixer in, because then the mixer can't get on the edge. I don't know. I had to switch it halfway through, which you didn't see, but the result is still beautiful, beautiful purple color. I sacrificed a shirt in the process, but hopefully we can get that stain out. The mini chocolate chips are definitely the move, but this is just super creamy, creamier than any store-bought ice cream I've ever encountered. And I honestly like it with the blueberries more than I liked it with the blackberries. So I'm gonna enjoy this, enjoy the rest of my day. But thanks for watching, and per usual, leave any comments, questions, concerns down below. Until next time, bye y'all.